when recording is started. And same as last time, I'll just be a minute or so looking for something to talk about.
Attackers incoming.
Sure.
Escort the payload.
Now get the job done.
Defense die healer. Help me. Please move behind the barrier.
Okay, so here we can see a couple tinier things. We don't have to dwell on anything too long.
You're not
Oh,
sharing.
my apologies. My bad. I did forget to do that, didn't I? All right, it's because I had it open the whole time rather than getting it open. All right, so now I'm streaming.
Got it.
Yeah, you were just sitting there in the dark for like a minute there. All right, so watching through this, right? We come out of spawn, we're shooting at stuff. Here we do a little bit of overhealing, right? Like, so we get these guys to full HP. I think we talked about that
red.
last time.
Okay.
Yeah. So these guys get to full HP, right? Full HP, and then we keep shooting a couple shots. Nothing too big. Here, Mercy gets decently low, right? Look at Mercy. So we want to be. Are we needed for anything else immediately?
No. Everyone is
No.
full heal.
So it would be okay for you to be shooting at Mercy, yeah?
Yeah, I tried. Didn't
Yeah.
I?
Yes, you do. Yeah, you do try. Okay, so Mercy gets up to here to the high ground. What's something we can do to actually secure the kill of Mercy when she gets up there?
Jump there, but there is a soldier, I think, if I remember.
So let's say we jump there. How long is it when Mercy's at health? How long does it take for us to kill Mercy?
I don't know. It depends on my aim, but generally, yeah, if I headshot her, probably one shot.
Yeah, one volley, right? Because you do a burst, right? One burst.
Yeah.
So you jump up here, you one burst Mercy, and then you drop back. Does Soldier have time to kill you?
No, probably not.
Okay, and then if we stay up here longer, we have both of our abilities, right? We have self heal and we have immortality as an option, or we could just give up and back out, right? We can immediately drop off, and then now we're right here, and Soldier can't really do a ton, like as much, right? We can just get around that corner, right? So here in this case, you probably want to chase after that Mercy because this is how you have that self-impact, right? This is an example of we kind of let this pass, whereas a higher ranked player, right, you go to like a gold lobby, and a gold player might have gone after that kill. A gold player might have, now it wouldn't be perfect, but they might have tried to jump up and kill the Mercy, and then that's how they have impact in their lobbies. So in the situation, now I don't want you to go sprinting into their team all the time, but just as an example of a scenario where you can get value, and we kind of don't really chase after the value. Now, our team still gets it. Our team still secures it, which is good, but we probably also could have helped.
Good job, team. Let's keep it going.
Once again, watching our health bar. Last time, just to confirm, we did go over overhealing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so overhealing is when we heal people who are already full HP. So here we do that a little bit more on the Doomfist, right? So Doomfist, we see, you can tell, just in case you weren't aware, you can tell people's HPs through wall. For example, you can look at Zarya, right, where we can't see her HP, but you can tell based off of the shading of Zarya, her color. See Doomfist, who is critical, but also notice how he's a dark shade of orange, whereas Zarya is light yellow, so we know that Zarya is only a little bit damaged. If she was green, then that would mean that she is full HP. Full HP is green, yeah, and then it gets darker and darker and darker. So here, Zarya probably doesn't need healing. Doomfist does need healing. So watch that. So here Doomfist grabs a health pack, and then we see that he turns green. Right, it's kind of flashing in and out for some reason. I think that's just the replay being weird. But we see that he turns green, and hopefully just in case you weren't aware, there's a health pack right here, right? So Doomfist gets healed up, and then we kind of continue to try to heal him for like a couple shots, right? Where we go, oopsie, where we come in, he gets healed, right? And we go shot, right? We go 2 shots still once again. So just another thing there. We do a self heals when we haven't taken any damage, right? So and there's nobody else here to heal. So watch the shift usage. everything so far has been pretty minor. Haven't like, but note how it all adds up when you're making 10 different minor mistakes within the first minute. That's a lot more efficiency that you'll get over the course of the whole game. You'll be a lot if you could like if we just left this session and you worked on those, all five of those really minor things that we just talked about, and you perfect those, you've probably gone up a couple hundred SR, right? And that's just from being consistent on those things. So yes, they're minor, they're not major mistakes, but do note that they do add up when you're making them very consistently. Hey, nice.
Get in here.
Alright, so watch through this, right? So we're walking through, we kill the Ash, it's good. Good. Zarya, we don't seem to notice her health bar, because if we are, we can maybe continue to shoot at her. Now we do turn for the Ana, that's good. Now here we Immortality.
Get in here.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a bad call.
Yeah.
I see.
Why does it become a bad call?
Yeah, because she's, not under the pressure, and the immortality doesn't, I think, even reach her.
Yeah. I think when you might even be throwing it for yourself here, possibly because you don't realize. I mean, maybe you know what you're thinking here better than I do, but maybe you didn't realize that you got healed up by the Ana made. So maybe you think it's for yourself, but yeah, I mean either or, it's still a mistake, right? Because you got healed, and she is around the corner. So in either case, you don't need it. Now on BAP, did we discuss like what are the two or the main? What's the main criteria for needing immortality?
Yeah, so when we expect some damage, so burst damage, and yeah, when
Yeah,
someone is
burst damage.
or someone is about to die.
Yeah, someone's about to die, and that is usually you can know that they're about to die. The way that you know they're about to die is danger level, right? It's knowing, are they in danger, are they not in danger? Did we just discuss that last time?
Hmm.
Yeah, so Ana here, yes, she's low, but she's also not in danger. So you just want to be aware of that. All this takes is just 1-2 shots, and then she's good. Kind of means that the immortality doesn't do too much. Reload every time you're not using your shots.
Yeah, I need to watch that. Yeah.
Yeah. Here, just note that it's not. So a couple things. Firstly, you can leap up to him to just close the
Yeah.
distance. Also, we kind of keep going for shots, even though this, it's just the radius isn't that big, so it's not gonna be able to reach him.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, this here I turn my back to the enemy. I don't know if there was a.
Okay. So here, let's take a look at your positioning. Did we talk about general positioning?
Yeah, probably behind the team, behind the cover, playing around the corners.
Yeah, so good positioning is the usage of cover, whereas bad positioning is the absence of cover. Right now, we're kind of at that absence of cover where we try to get to cover and we have to go like 1, 2, right? And then even here, this is like kind of like a okay cover. It's not like the most wonderful cover because it can kind of get above it and around it pretty easily. So right now we're kind of out in the open. The other thing, like you said, we're ahead of our whole team, so we can't. If we're back here, right, we can. If you are right here, you can have cover and still see soldier. Right, you can shoot, pew, 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 and we're behind our team, so we can go pew, pew, shoot, 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 heal, 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 pew, pew, shoot, shoot. Right, we have access to high ground. If we want the high ground, we can just leap up there. Right, so we have a lot of different options. Here, we're just kind of getting ahead of ourselves. We're pushing too far forwards and into their team.
You are me. They're not moving.
Here it comes.
Get in here.
All right, let me rewatch that Immortality real quick.
Here it comes.
Get in here.
Okay, so firstly, we just make sure you're walking on the dynamite. Okay. Additionally, besides dynamite or whatever, is anybody currently in danger at the moment?
Not really.
Not really. So once again, right, just paying attention to kind of the surroundings and what's going on around us, because as of the moment, not really anybody in current need of it, which just means that if anybody was in danger, we don't actually have it, right? It's a really
Yeah.
long cooldown, so you want to make sure that we're not using it when it's not going to do anything. So, here nobody ends up actually getting low enough to die in it. And then now, what's happening right in front of us?
Yeah.
Right? Somebody is, Ash is in danger, just 3 seconds later, and we could be immortalitying it, but unfortunately we don't have it. Right? It's just not something we got.
I feel unstoppable. I am moving with the payload. The payload has reached the checkpoint.
My goodness, he's just being healed.
How about a little extra here?
I am on fire. Engaging.
Diplomacy fair.
Okay. Last fight in this fight, a couple more overheal shots. Watch the health bars of your teammates.
Yeah, I was just, bored.
Reload your ammo right when there's nothing else to
Yeah.
do. That way you got ammo to work with.
Barrier activated.
We can do it.
Let them up.
All right. Currently, I could point out probably just one primary thing. I'd say is the biggest thing here. What's the big issue as of the moment with this ultimate?
I was trying to, to encourage them to push.
As of the moment, why do you think? What would be the good? Like, what would be good about us pushing right now?
What would be good?
Yes, what would be good for us to push? What advantage would that give us?
I mean, we would, get some, I don't know, get some space
Get
from
some
them.
space. Carts here, right? Um, looks like
Yeah,
you
it's
guys have a
going
lot
to.
of space already. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say in this instance we're forcing a fight where we don't need to force a fight, right? Because the fight is not started yet. The fight is not close to being started. I would probably say you could look at these guys all the way back there. You probably have a good 10 seconds before the fight actually begins, right? So here, you guys already have a ton of space to be working with. You don't really need additional space, right? Space means that, like, what space is? Space is room to move cart, and space is room for your team to kill them, right? Room for your DPS to work with. And here in this instance, since the fight is not begun yet and they're nowhere near you, space is already had. You guys already have space. There's no need for more space, right? So now you get into the fact of if you use your ultimate now, there's a couple problems with it. Well, firstly, look how far away they are. They can probably very easily run away from that. In this instance, because we're using it before the fight starts, they have all of their abilities, right? So Orissa's gonna have shield, Zarya's gonna have bubbles, they have sleep, they have they have speed to get away from it, amp speed. They have all their abilities. They also are not distracted at all, so they all see it happen. They all are able to run away from it, and they can put their full attention into getting away from it. Now, if the fight is happening, well, then they might be a lot more distracted. They'll have things going on. They won't have their abilities because they've just used their abilities because the fight is happening. So overall, your ultimate's going to get a lot more value because the fight's actually happening, right? And they won't be able to run away from it. So here, I would imagine, unless they could, right? They could be stupid and kind of walk into it, which would be stupid of them because they're also down 2 people. They shouldn't be engaging as of the moment. Now, if they were to engage, and this does get value, just note that it would be the case where just because a mistake is not punished does not mean a mistake's it just doesn't mean it's not a mistake, right? It
Mhm.
could be a mistake and still get value, but that's just because you're at bronze. Whereas if you go up, a couple hundred SR, go up to silver, well, now those same players might not do the same thing, and then therefore you're no longer going to get value and it's a wasted ultimate,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So let's watch through, right? Or I mean, just to check here, does that all make sense? Are you tracking with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead, rather than in between the fights, you want to use it at the start of the fight, right? So if the fight starts, typically that's going to be when the teams are kind of are intermeshing, when they're right next to each other. Not necessarily when they're a mile away and both teams still have people walking back from spawn. That's the in between fights phase, and that's when usually how it works is start a fight is the best for most ultimates, not all. Mid fight is okay. Late fight is situational. In between fights is very, very rare. Okay. So Ana, I mean, notice there how that is a mistake that Ana makes. Ana's behind cover, hears it, and then runs out into the open and then dies. Right? That's a bronze player making a bronze mistake, and then therefore that means that it gets value, but it probably wouldn't have gotten value because the only two people around, and then notice how they run back through the open. They got to cover and then move back out through the open, and then it gives you guys more time to shoot at them, right? And then she moves back out into the open and stays out in the open, right? So, that's just another, it got a little bit of value, and that's because they kind of let you get value out of it. So that's just something to keep in mind there. Okay. Getting a little bit close. We're kind of sprinting into this one.
Yeah.
You do have a decent bit of range on your gun. We can talk about the range of your kit if we need to. Last time we talked about the range of your kit.
No, I know the range. I practiced it on the on the bots.
Yeah. So you're gonna be more mid-ranged with your left click. So here we're kind of running into them, and then that just puts us in a really dangerous position. Once again, away from cover, ahead of our team. We're kind of seeing those trends.
Yep.
Okay, we're walking back. Make sure we're paying attention to our teammates. We can see them in the kill feed. We can see them through the walls. What is the status of this fight?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are the red ones.
Yeah, you're the red ones.
Not so good, I'd
Not
say.
so good. Yeah, the main thing to note is that they have two people walking back, or even three people that are walking back. We got two people who are walking back, but notice how far away our spawns are, right? And how close these guys are, right? So this is gonna be a 5v3. 5v3 is pretty much already lost, right? So we're kind of walking back into a lost fight as of the moment, or at the very least, a very big disadvantage. And we don't want to actively walk into a big disadvantage if we can just regroup. Because then that ends up staggering you further if we do walk back into it. Which is good because we actually start backing up here, so that's good that we didn't pressure it. But we might not have even wanted to get that close in the first place.
Regen up.
Okay, so good job for not fully engaging.
We should get the payload moving.
Oh, good job keeping her up. Possibly could have even used Immortality there if you wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't. I think she died.
Oh, her or the Zarya? I'm talking about the Zarya at the moment.
Yeah. I know. I thought that was the moment that I couldn't overheal her.
Oh yeah, no. You heal her up. I'm just saying that she got low and she had a bunch of people shooting at her. Could have been a spot to use it. Okay, once again, could be a spot to use it, right? A little bit delayed, right? The main thing that I go, oh, danger, shield breaks, and who's looking at them? Not just the whole team, but one person in particular on their team that's looking at them and they don't have a shield.
Yeah, so what do you mean? Who's looking at them?
So right now their entire team is looking at your tanks, which is already really bad, right? And then there's also one character in particular on their team who's actively shooting at your tanks. Your tanks are not near cover and they don't have shield. What's the one character you're looking at the moment?
Yeah. What is this? Is this Bastion?
Yes, this is Bastion, right?
Yeah.
So Bastion, the tank shredder, right? He is actively looking at your tanks. They do not have shields. They are far away from cover. This is danger, 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 right? This is where Immortality wants to be used immediately, but we're kind of a little bit delayed with it. And then they end up dying, right? So Immortality can help keep them alive there. That is your carry potential right there, right? Immortality is basically an ultimate on a cooldown, right? Your ability to keep two teammates in the fight is how you carry is part of how you carry on Baptiste. It's not the entirety of it. You could probably carry and never press the button, right? Like I right now I could go into a bronze game and never once press any of my abilities and still win the game, but you're using your immortality well is still going to be a really really good way to get value out of it, right? So make sure that you're looking to use immortality well, right? Even if your teammates are bad, it's better to have two bad teammates in the fight than have not have two bad teammates in the fight, right?
Yep.
Better?
Get back in the
Okay,
fight.
good self healing. Okay, good heals. Yeah, watch over healing where we just toss like 4 overheal shots into Orisa. 5. Okay, so
Where did
here
he came from?
he drops from the high ground. I don't know why he's doing that. All right, couple things here, right? So we're rewatching the scenario, right? Let's pause it right here. You see a Bastion drop on your teammates. He has beat. Are you going to be able to kill Bastion?
No.
No. Okay. Is he going to be a threat to your team? Is he
Yeah.
danger to your team?
Yeah, I mean, what else to do? Just run.
Just run?
Just
Okay. I'd say you probably don't want to run. Who is he looking at right now?
no, he's looking front, so for the tanks.
Yeah, for the tank. Okay. What we just talked about this a second ago. What thing do you have in your kit
Yeah.
that saves people in danger?
Yeah, I mean, immortality field, but
Yeah.
I try to, I noticed that if I just drop it, then it got shredded, right away. So I try to put it somewhere in the corner so the enemy team doesn't see that. I think sometimes I overthink
Yeah.
instead of
So,
just, putting it
well,
there.
yeah, 100%. You should 100% want to use corners with it because if you don't, then it doesn't do anything. But you never want to you never want to just hold on to it because you know it's going to break, because then you could someone on your team it dies when you could have saved them, right? Instead, how you want to think about corners, right, is you want to pre-think the corner, right? You don't want to think about it in the moment, because if you're thinking about it in the moment, right, when it comes to immortalities in general, right, if you're thinking about it in the moment, you're gonna react too slowly. You need to be thinking ahead of time. So if you're thinking, okay, I want to use cover with my immortality, you're thinking, okay, where's my team positioned? Okay, before over here. Okay, team's positioned right here. Where's the only cover right here? Right, there's only one piece of cover. Where's the cover?
Where? Here?
Yeah, if one, but last fight, our team is holding here. Where's the one piece
Yeah,
of cover here?
on the left.
On the left, right? So if we were to place immortality, where's the one place we're going to place immortality?
Yeah, on the left behind the corner.
On the left, right? And we want to be thinking about that ahead of time, not because our whole team's right here, not thinking about that while we're throwing it, right? So here, we're trying to throw down Arissa. Is she by cover that we can use for immortality?
Is she? I don't know. Probably it wouldn't get her there.
Yeah. At least from
So
our current positioning, not really. So you would just throw it. You would just, maybe you can wait wait a second for her to get down a little bit lower, and then you just throw it at Orisa, right? But instead we try to shoot the Bastion, but Bastion's, has
yeah,
his ult, or like has beat. Okay. Now we haven't, so in that time we traded shooting for throwing immortality, either for Zarya or for Orisa, right? We could throw it either or right now, right? Because they're both in danger. And we can't do both, right? They're too far apart. what is another thing we could be doing right now? Let's say we've already thrown Immortality. Was another thing we could do right now to eliminate Bastion as a threat?
I would just run, really.
You just run? Okay. I would say you do not want to run because Bastion right now you're right next to cover. There's no reason to
Yeah,
run.
but
Right?
there is the whole team coming for us, right? On the
Yeah.
beat.
But Beat's already run out at this point. Beat they notice look or sorry Bastion at least. Sorry, your whole team looking at Bastion. As of the moment, you could probably pop your ultimate right behind Bastion and just shred Bastion in half a second with your team, right?
Mhm.
That helps you. It kills Bastion. You can use it to heal up your team. You can use it to heal up Zarya extra well because it's gonna give you 2 times healing, right? Your Hanzo can come and join you behind it, and then you can also use it on their team too because they're also out in the open, right? So this would be a good
Yeah.
timing for your ult as well. So you throw in more, you use ult, you shoot at Bastion. Here, I think is once Bastion loses the beat, shoot at Bastion. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. The issue is that we just don't use either or of our big abilities. And now we use it, but it's a little bit
Lift him
delayed
up.
because now the issue is we don't have Hanzo with us, and now they're also kind of on top of us, right? Which now we're in more danger than we were, 5 seconds ago.
How about a little extra here?
Okay. Good Immortality. I like that we're using Immortality because we know we're in danger here. We do throw it, unfortunately, like a hair forwards. So just look at
Yeah.
the difference between like it being here where nobody can see it
Yeah.
versus like here where they can see it for peeking around. So just very minor thing. I like that you're throwing it though. That's good. Right. Works. Looks like the fight works out. That's good.
Stop coming after me.
Securing the payload.
I recommend moving behind my battery.
Yeah, I'm in the middle again.
Okay. Got a little bit close there. Might have wanted to be back a little bit.
Payload's moving.
Fire at will.
You or me, sister?
The payload has
Okay.
reached
Note that a bad habit I think is that when we start dueling people, we tend to try to walk forwards towards them, and whenever we start left clicking,
Mhm.
we kind of inch and inch and inch and inch and inch forwards. So be careful about that bad habit because then it puts us too close when we don't want to be too close, right? Firstly, let's say you were a DPS character as Baptiste, which you're not. You're a healer, right? So you want to be behind your team so you can heal them.
I'm
Um,
support.
yeah, your support. Yep. But let's say you were a DPS character, you don't have a close ranged kit to enemies, whereas there are other characters that do close range better than you, right? Reinhardt, Brig, Zarya, Orisa, or I mean, not sorry, I'm thinking new Orisa, not old Orisa.
Yeah.
There's Reaper, there's Mei, there's Junkrat. There's a lot of characters that do close range better than you, so you don't want to be up in people's faces in a lot of cases. Not any and all, but in a lot of cases. And we
Mm.
seem to tend to want to inch closer and closer and closer and closer when you want to keep a medium range.
Yeah, that's only because it helps me to aim. I'm
Yeah.
not that great.
Yeah.
So
So, should we? Let's say. I mean, like I've heard that argument before. Um, I'm not even sure if we haven't really discussed it, right? But it's kind of the same topic. Headshots. Headshots do 2 times damage to body shots. Are
yeah,
headshots are
that's
yeah
not my thing.
yeah
It's on a good day I can hit someone. Headshot it's a pure luck for me.
yeah okay. So when it comes to headshots, though, right? Headshots do 2 times damage. Headshots are obviously though harder to hit. Right, they're very much harder to hit. So I've had people say, okay, well, headshots are harder to hit, so shouldn't I just always go for body shots? Because then I won't miss. Well, it's kind of similar to what we were talking about with the mistakes before. Even though it's harder, doesn't mean that we should be practicing for the easier thing, because the easier thing is not the better thing. The easier thing is the harder, or sorry, the better thing is the harder thing. So we want to practice for the harder thing so we can get easy, and so we can get better, and it becomes easier and easier and easier. So for example, right, let's say you're trying to get better and better, and you're trying to rank up, you're trying to go places, right? No matter what your goal is, you're trying to be better. And if you get into a game that just happens to have a gold player in it, and a gold player hits just, let's say they hit, 20% more headshots than you, well, then that means that they're doing so much more damage than you are doing, and you're just not going to be able to compete, right? It's just, it's not even, there's not even a contest. So therefore you want to practice for that harder thing so that you're able to actually perform when it comes time for the game to be in it, right? You don't ever hear a professional player say, "Oh, body shots are easier, so go, I'm going to go for the body shots." If you go and watch any stream of any pro player, you'll notice that they consistently aim head level, they hit headshots. So that's I guess in the headshots thing, I honestly forget where we were before. You're talking about getting closer to people, right? Just because it's easier does not mean it's better, right? Even though it's harder to stay at mid-range, it is better that you stay at mid-range, so practice staying at mid-range. And also, since we're on the topic, aim at head level when you're shooting with your left click as BAP, since you want to hit easier headshots, and if you're already aiming there, headshots become much, much easier, right? If you're aiming here at their head, it becomes much easier than if you're aiming down here, right? You have to look up to hit the head. Okay. Does that whole concept make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Good.
Much better.
See that which is unseen.
Enemy turret ahead.
Cease your resistance. The enemy approaches.
Let them up.
Let the dragon consume you.
Okay. So let's rewatch that for half a second. So we're using our ult.
Let them up.
Okay. May want to curve it. Honestly, I think that's okay. Just because of the amount of shields that they have up currently, it just means that they're probably going to get around that corner. I think generally pretty good ult. Good timing, good placement. They're generally on the open. You could say very minor things here, like you could put it up closer, but honestly, good ultimate for the most part there. Like you maybe put it a little bit closer, maybe wait till they're a little bit more out in the open, maybe angle it a little bit to the left more so that you can kind of see further around the corner. But
can you, without moving, can you somehow steer how it's
no,
placed?
you're not.
Oh.
But you would have to move. Yep, you would just move to the right and place it so that it's angled like that, and then that gives you more visibility around the corner, because then it'd be the corner would be from here to like here, right? So you just see more around the corner.
Yeah, I didn't want to, get shot in the head.
Okay. On their team, do they? So in the situation where we can go back, right?
Yeah, I think they had like Anna or no, not Anna, the Asha, yeah.
Yeah, so here in the situation, you have a shield, you have tanks in front of you that you can use to body block for you. You're decently near cover, so if we just, even if we inch, because right here we're right here, we can just go to here and be around and like go to the very edge of the shield and then ult, and then that would just put us a little bit closer with it as an option. Additionally, right? Where's even the Ash at? Is Ash right there? Ash isn't even anywhere near you. Ash is dead. Right? Torbjorn's walking around the corner. Torb's not even shooting at us, right? So if we're being aware, Rissa, Lucio, Moira, Reinhardt are not gonna, besides Reinhardt Firestrike, are not gonna one tap us. Reinhardt Firestrike won't even one tap us. I forgot that Bongos doesn't even boost it that much. So they can't even one tap us right now, and then even if they could, we have cover to work with.
Let the dragon consume you.
This will restore you.
Okay, so here we do end up pushing a little bit, kind of out in the open. Trying to think. So we end up getting shattered a little bit out in the open, right? So anything we're doing here, we can also do from like here, besides maybe like shooting at Lucio, and that's about it, right? So just making sure he's in cover. Besides that, it gets a little bit advanced in countering shatter. We don't have to talk too much on that. Like yeah, you can leap over it, but that's only if you're expecting it, which we don't have to get too far into. Just to check, do you have any enduring questions about anything? Not saying this in a bad sense, but you seem to be a little bit resistant to a couple ideas, and that's perfectly fine because it means that you are thinking through these things, which is a good thing. You're a little bit skeptical, which just means that you are trying to making sure that you're actually understanding the concept, which is a good thing. But I'm just checking, do you have any questions that have kept popping up?
No, I don't think so. I mean, no, I have some, my observation. I see what I do, incorrectly, let's say. So it's not like I'm, I don't know, not agreeing with what you're saying. So no worries there.
Yeah, all good. I was just merely stating that in a couple areas you were kind of second guessing it or kind of questioning it, which is
No, more like trying
yeah.
to explain myself. Yeah, but that's how I am. So don't worry about that.
Yeah,
I get it.
don't like, as you've probably seen so far, don't feel a need to be defensive. I'm not, when I'm
Yeah,
going through this, it's not an attack. It's helping you out, and
yeah,
in a lot of cases, I've already I've played this game for a very long time. In a lot of cases, not all, in a lot of cases, I already know generally what you're thinking in that instance. And generally speaking, like I already know like that stuff I've kind of already thought through really quickly in my head. So if there is something that I'm talking about, I mean, I'll say rarely. It does happen sometimes where somebody points out something. I'm like, oh snap! That I didn't even notice. Thank you for pointing that out. But in a lot of cases, I've already seen it. Of like what's happening in the situation, and then I'll be able to explain it if you ask further. So just keep that in mind as we're going through. But yeah, if you do have questions, feel free to bring them up. I'm happy to answer anything like that, and or even if you have if you're not sure on some things that I say. All right, so then
yeah. So immortality field would be good,
yeah,
probably.
Immor, yeah, pretty much got it there.
Enemy contact.
I'm at fighting
Okay,
condition.
tossing in some right clicks in there on the enemies, some overheal shots or shots. Okay, good spam. Okay, some overheal. No, I think that's a decent idea to go duel a Torbjorn. That's not too bad of an idea. Okay. What's the problem with our positioning at the moment?
Yeah, again, I'm in front of my team,
Front of your
not
team,
not behind the cover.
not been cover, very very close to the enemy team. So now our team might need Elmore. Can't see him. Right, they push us and we die right instantly. Like if this would
Yep.
just be pretty much insta death in a higher rank, right? Here they don't notice you. That's why you're surviving so long. But if you go up, just a couple hundred SR, this could be a quick death much much quicker.
60 seconds remaining.
Okay, pretty good immortality.
Get in here.
At least they survived.
Yeah. Here we walk out of it, so be careful of that. We get booped, and then we carry the momentum by continuing to walk, so be careful about that, because we actually end up killing ourselves because Ash boops us, and then we walk after that. So boop comes here, boop, we land, and then notice how we're still on the edge, and then we keep walking out, and then yeah. So it's just like half a second of walking out of it, really.
Fire at will.
Have you considered an enemy turret
30
destroyed?
seconds remaining.
Watch the shift usage here.
30 seconds.
Last time did we talk about the like
Mm.
3 primary uses of shift?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here, are any of those really coming into play?
Not really.
Yeah, not really. Additionally, I'm not even sure who we're trying to heal at the moment, but I think we talked about that last time. But remember, it's also a 10-meter radius as well. You can see that ring on the right side of your screen at the moment. And that's the range.
Clock's running down. Attack! Get in here.
Okay. Make sure you're just being aware of our screen. Zarya's critical for a decent bit before we noticed.
Get in here.
Good, decent immortality timing, right? Because you see Zarya's low, but then we kind of look away. We immor, and then we kind of look away from the Zarya and don't heal her up. So make sure, even though she's immortality, that we're still trying to get her back to full HP, because we don't want her to be 1 HP when she exits immortality.
Defense mode activated.
Okay. Remember that in all cases, or most cases, healing trumps damage, right? It's better to heal when healing is needed, and then the damage when healing is not needed. But here we're damaging when Zarya was needing healing.
Yeah, I was, in the heat of a moment here.
Yeah. Good shift.
10 seconds remaining.
Oh, almost getting our ult. That's good.
We must achieve.
Vamos, escuracha. Let them up.
Okay. Good timing of the ultimate. I like we're using it fast. We place it a little bit inside of them, which is not good because that means that now 3 of them are just already past it, which means that they can kind of defend it to where it can't really. If Reinhardt just walks past us and shields it off, then you can't use it at all. And then it also means that we can't shoot at the people who are past it. So pulling it back further, and then also pay attention to where your team's at, because most of your team can't actually shoot through it. So here we probably could have just plopped it on cart, and then that would have been good because it would have gone both sides here, and then our whole team could shoot through it, and it'd be behind them. Check off all the boxes. But good timing with it. I like we're trying to get it out fast.
Someone has to keep you alive.
My ultimate is charges.
Okay, got a little aggro. I think it would have been a good. I liked that you're going for the Torbjorn there, and he's really low. I think you probably could have kept going for him, but we kind of gave up on the kill, even though look at the top left here, he's still 1 HP. So you probably could have kept going for the Torb, if you were leaping up to the high ground. We got a little bit aggro, kind of pushing in, and then of course, we also just don't hit a ton of shots, which just is leading to it. That'll come with practice. I don't think that it's a insanely major thing in comparison to the other things that we've been talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
Keep practicing at that. Yeah, I'd say tryhard free-for-alls are a really good place to practice aim mechanics.
Yeah. I try with, before every game.
Before every game, or while you're in queues and whatnot?
Yeah, while I'm in queues.
Okay, that's good. Do you warm up before you play?
I mean, when I choose play, sometimes I choose the first game to play as DPS, and then for 10 minutes I just the tracing. There's this workshop code for Legion Tower.
Okay.
Where you trace shoot.
I mean, if you're playing Baptiste most of the time, just practice on a Baptiste because you want to get used to his gun. Additionally, right, the other thing that I always come back to is I would probably recommend fighting actual people than training range. Now, I think that aim trainers and workshop codes like that are okay. They do help. They do help, but I don't think that they're as helpful as if you just went into a game, a triad free-for-all match, and actually practice intentionally on your aim. And that is primarily because it's unrealistic to actual gameplay. When you're playing there in the Li Zhang mode, right? I know which one you're talking about, the one that pop up in the air, right? There's a couple things that are not realistic, right? Firstly, you're standing still, you're not moving around. Secondly, there's not other people shooting at you, you're just kind of shooting at people who aren't fighting you. There's also a lack of abilities and ultimates being used. There's also a lack of cover being used. There's a lack of awareness involved. There's also, on top of that, people in this game don't generally travel in that pattern. They don't, unless you're talking about like a jump pad or like a Pharah boosting up in the air. Tell me, how often is it that people actually kind of leap up in this arc where they go woo and then come back to the ground to that like that,
I
right?
just try to, yeah, of course, when they go up, I just try to catch them when they're going down. Really, just practice the tracking. Yeah, the
Yeah.
tracking.
And like I said, it's not a bad thing. I just think that it is not the best thing. I think that there's better environments, and just as an example, I think one of the best environments is try hard free for all, because you're fighting against actual people who are trying. They're using abilities, they're moving around, you're moving around, and it helps you practice your duels. It's an environment where it's only focused on your mechanics because there's no objectives, there's no teammates, it's just you and shooting, and
Yeah,
therefore, just say it's a great environment.
the other thing is I practice is the aim arena, so it's the closed the box and people in it, and
Yeah.
just So is it, or are you talking about something else entirely?
Oh, I'm talking about try hard free for all deathmatch is what I'm referring to. So that would be mode. We're about to run out of time, or we're gonna go into the end credit stuff here. So if you just go to game browser, and you go to all games, and you just type in try hard,
Okay.
there's almost always one running. And this brings you to a deathmatch where it's a free-for-all, right? It's everyone's doing their own thing. And you can run around and duel people, and this helps you practice your one-on-one duels with people, as well as, two-on-ones and stuff like that. And you can just run around doing this, and it's going to be a much more competitive environment. I'd recommend this above Aim Arena, because Aim Arena, there's unrealistic things, like there's no cover in Aim Arena. Everyone's on even footing. Like, when in an actual game, are you going to be in a scenario where you're on even footing with every single person without any cover, without any abilities being involved? I mean, I think you have abilities, right? And then additionally, it's just also unrealistic in the fact that you can have literally 10 people shoot at you all at the same time, whereas that's not going to happen in an actual game, right? So it's just, there's also Aim Arena's decent. Once again, not the best, I don't think, right? This helps you practice your duels. And then I recommend doing this when you're warming up, so that you're warming up you're practicing, but then also getting your aim in the game for the day and whatnot. So that all makes sense?
Hmm?
All right. Main points, quick review, wrap up, all that stuff. So we went over Baptiste. Okay, ability usage, shift, 3 main usage, right? People need burst healing, group healing, or unit healing, right? 10 meters radius. Immortality, use it when people are in danger, not when they don't need it, right? Which we did a couple times. And then also, there were a couple times where we didn't use it when they were in danger, and we could have used it, right? Try to use cover, but don't hold on. Like, if there is no cover, don't hold on to it, because you could save them, right? And then when you're using cover, just think about it ahead of time, right? So I know my whole team's positioned here. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to use it, I'm throwing it here, right? I just already have it pre-planned in my head where I'm throwing it, right? Team's here, okay, I'm throwing it here on this corner. Overall, that's probably around like trying to think, maybe like a higher end of a medium priority for you to work on. Ultimate usage, right? Make sure you're not using it in between fights. Use it at the start of fights is the best time to use it. Mid fight's okay. Late fight is situational. In between fights is rare. When you're using it, try to just curve it as best as possible to give you as much visibility as possible. So here, if you're coming around this corner, right, and you place it like this, look how little. If people run around this corner, they can't. They can't see you. But the further you curve it, the more you're going to be able to see around that corner. So if you're trying to cover all this area, oh, whoopsie, you can do it like this, and then now you can get all of this space, right, with it. Whereas if you did it like this, you only get this one area over here, right? So that make sure you're curving it right. Put it behind your team, not in front of them. And the enemy team as well, right? Make sure you're putting it make sure you're putting it in front of them,
Sure,
not
sure.
in the middle of them. Overall, that one is probably around a medium, just a little bit lower than the ability usage. Then mechanics, practice at your left clicking. Crosshair placement is when you aim at head level, you walk around and you aim at head level. You walk around here, and then headshots become a lot easier. They become natural. Also, pre-aiming is aiming where you know people are going to be. So we know bots coming here, we pre-aim here, easy headshot, right? When it comes to right-clicking, well, now you don't want to aim at their head because that's not what you want to do. You want to aim at their feet because if you aim at their body and you miss, it goes sailing past them. Whereas if you aim at it goes sailing past them. If you aim at their feet and you miss, you still get splash damage. But remember that you do more healing if you land a direct. Besides that, really we didn't discuss a ton on it. Prioritize healing over damage, right? It always comes as a priority, or most always, right? It's a general rule of thumb. Comes as the priority. And then that was about it. Overall, that probably went to like a low end of a medium priority for you to work on. Then you have your positioning. Make sure that you're using cover. Good positioning is the usage of cover. Bad positioning is the absence of cover. Make sure you're not running ahead of your team, right? You want to be behind because that lets you immortality and that lets you heal, and you can still see, right? And it's also a good rule of thumb for your ranging as well, right? Your range, you should be a close to mid range, to probably close range to your team. Because all of your abilities revolve around you being close. You can't shift from far away. Your heal and your immortality will be slow to reach them and less accurate the further you go. And then also you can't use your ultimate too well if you're all the way back here, right? So be close range to your team, be behind them, and then be mid-range to the enemy team. Don't inch closer and closer and closer. Stay at a mid-range. So that's going to be to the enemy team. That's going to your team. That's about like 10 meters from them, right? Within 10 meters. To the enemy team, it's going to be more like, try to keep like 15 meters to like 30 meters. Like try to keep that ranging, roughly speaking, right? Overall, that probably went to like a medium high, maybe lower end of a medium high priority for you to work on. Awareness is pay attention to what's up with your team. What's their danger level? What's their health bar? That was another thing in mechanics, overhealing. Make sure we're watching people's health bars. Don't heal when people are full HP. Or very, very close to full HP. Pay attention to your health. Request healing when you're low if you don't got anything else to help you out. Make sure you're paying attention to generally what else is going on around you. Where's my team? Where's the enemy team? What's going on in kill feed? Who's winning, losing the fight? A lot of odds and ends stuff, right? There are a lot of situations where, I'd say one thing. I said, like, you should be doing this thing. And then you went, oh, but isn't this happening? And I said, no, because if you're paying attention to this, then you would, then this is the right situation, right? So there are a lot of, like, odds and ends situations where it's like, if you're being aware of your surroundings, you'll make a better decision here, right? You'll be able to make the right play. So there were a couple scenarios like that, right? Then we went over, pay attention just generally what's going on around you. Overall, that one's maybe higher end of a medium, right? So to put it all in order, 1 is going to be positioning. 2 is going to be maybe like awareness / ability usage. 3 is going to be ult usage, and then 4 is going to be your mechanics. Any questions?
You will send me the recording like last time, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes, I will.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, it's a long road, in front of me.
Yes, it is. Do you remember what was it? What did we say last time about that route? What is the route to improvement? What should you be doing to improve?
Let them up.
What should I be doing to improve? I mean, yeah, I should practice and yeah, practice what you are saying basically.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
yeah, you mentioned. So I've been trying to. You mentioned the kill feed, so I've been trying to just look up and look at the kill feed. But yeah, sometimes I still forget, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
I remember. I try to practice.
Yeah. So if you recall, just as a quick reminder, since we ran out of time, um, how you apply the things we talked about is to intentionally focus on them. So you're going to
Yeah.
take the number one thing, you're going to chip away at that, you're going to get better and better and better, you're going to put most of your attention into it, right? So we talked about positioning, right? Put most of your attention into positioning. Once you do that, your positioning will be better, you'll improve it, then you can move on to something else to work on, and your positioning will still be your autopilot for positioning will be better than what it was before, right? So it'll become more natural for positioning. So just make sure you're putting in attention into one thing. Don't overwhelm yourself and actively focus on it. Okay. Recording is